Hey guys, how y'all doing today? Wow, there's just so much to go over and I hope I can get it all. Anyway, the Disney investors meeting just wrapped up and I'm trying to get this all out there as fast as I can. There are a ton of new shows in development at Lucasfilm and they look pretty good. I mean, even though there isn't any Old Republic content, but whatever. But yeah, so there is a ton of new shows. However, the movie scene looks a little bleak, a little sparse. There's only 2 movies that were announced. I don't know why they aren't pushing more movies. I mean, that's kind of what Star Wars has always been. I mean, I do know why Lucasfilm isn't doing that. It's because The Mandalorian, a show, is kicking butt in the last few movies. Solo, Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, really haven't done too hot. But anyway, speaking of movies, the first movie they talked about was a movie that still has no release date and is still being written by Taika Waititi. Now, he did a great job with Thor Ragnarok, so I'm looking forward to his movie and seeing what it's about. But again, no release date as of yet, no details about anything, just that it's gonna be a Star Wars movie and he's writing and directing it apparently. The next film they talked about has a release date and is set to come out around Christmas of 2023. And it's set to be directed by Patty Jenkins, the same director who helmed Wonder Woman. I personally love Wonder Woman. Alright, it's one of my favorite DC superhero movies, so I have all the confidence in the world in Patty Jenkins and her ability to give us good quality storytelling that also represents its source material. The movie is called Rogue Squadron and is about a squad of X-Wings that has been held in high regard for decades now. There have been so many books, movies, comics, and video games about this legendary group of fighters. Kathleen Kennedy, who presented the whole presentation, she said that this would take us into a future era. Now, I don't know if she's talking about, like, future in real life, which I hope she is, or, like, the Star Wars timeline, like, future in the Star Wars timeline. Rogue Squadron being set in the future of Star Wars doesn't really make sense because they were a squad of rebellion fighters. I mean, I guess they could make them part of the New Republic? I don't know. I mean, it sounds exciting, and I'm looking forward to finally having a Star Wars movie that, you know, we can all anticipate that's gonna come out in 2023. I wish that they just had a little bit more coming out. I guess more movies coming out, you know, in that department. And obviously, you know, I wanted some Old Republic stuff, but anyway, maybe next year that'll happen, maybe. Okay, so that's it for the movies. Now on to the shows, which was really the main focus of this whole presentation. So Lucasfilm is set to make and debut 10 plus shows on Disney Plus over the next couple of years. So obviously there's a lot to break down. Anyway, the first show, obviously, that they talked about was The Mandalorian. I mean, it looks so good, and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have done a fantastic job with this show, and according to Kathleen Kennedy, COVID really hasn't disrupted anything, so Season 3 is on schedule, apparently, which is exciting, especially with Season 2 wrapping up in the next few weeks. So, of course, I'm just really looking forward to what they do with Season 2 and Season 3 and Season 4 and, you know, wherever this show takes us. Great show, I love it, keep it up. Another show that is going to be headed up by John and Dave is a show called Rangers of the New Republic. So, obviously, this is going to be held in the sequel era of Star Wars, because, you know, New Republic, it's going to be after the original trilogy, obviously. Now, they said that this is going to be a live-action series, and I'm hoping that we'll get to see Rey, because it has to do with Rangers. No? Okay, whatever. But seriously, the show sounds, well, I don't want to say good, but it does sound interesting, even though we don't really know anything about it. But the fact that Dave and John are the ones heading it up gives me some hope that it's going to be good. I'm really hoping that it has something to do with rebuilding the Jedi Order. Whether that's Luke Skywalker rebuilding his Jedi Order, or whether that's Rey rebuilding the Jedi Order after the sequel trilogy, I'm just hoping it has something to do with, you know, the Jedi coming back and finally restoring what was lost in, you know, the prequel era. Now, another big show that was announced was the Ahsoka Tano series that has been rumored to be in development for, I don't know, feels like a few months now. This is also going to be a show led up by John and Dave, but I assume that Dave Filoni would take the lead on this one as compared to John because Ahsoka is Dave's character. And Rosario Dawson is going to be reprising her role as Ahsoka Tano. The show is set in the Mandalorian era of Star Wars, and I'm thinking that it will have something to do with her trying to find Grand Admiral Thrawn and possibly Ezra. You know, maybe we'll see Sabine Wren in there as well. Maybe Luke will make an appearance. I don't know. There's so many possibilities that they could do with this show, which is going to be awesome to see. It was also said that the Ahsoka show and the Rangers of the New Republic, basically all the shows that John and Dave are working on together, will cross over or have some connection with The Mandalorian, kind of like an Avengers Endgame type of thing. So I think what we're seeing here is the start of the Star Wars cinematic universe as far as shows are concerned. It's very similar to what Marvel did, but again, instead of, having movies spanning over 10 years, they're probably going to have shows span over some time and, maybe lead to, I don't know, Palpatine coming back. Maybe Palpatine is, their Thanos or something like that. I think that'd be cool. Either way, I'm all here for it. I'm stoked to see Ahsoka, and I have all the confidence in the world that John and Dave will do a great job with any show that they're doing in the Star Wars universe. Another show that was announced was the Casian Andor series, simply called Andor. Now, we saw Casian in Rogue One, and Diego Luna is reprising his role. It's going to be a spy thriller, and is going to be headed up by Tony Gilroy, who was also the head of the Bourne Identity series, so it's going to be great there. Apparently, the series is going to be a little bit darker, and it's going to focus on some of the darker aspects of the rebellion that we didn't really get to see a whole lot of in the original trilogy. The show is set to have 12 episodes, and is set to come out in 2022. Now, we don't know if it's going to be multiple seasons or just one season, but we know it's for sure coming, hopefully, in 2022. Now, the next show they announced was the biggest announcement, in my opinion, of the whole thing. And that is that Mr. High Ground himself, Obi Wan Kenobi, is officially coming back, which, again, we already knew. But he is bringing mother effing Hayden Christensen, big boy Darth, I am your father, Vader, with him. I am so excited. I am so ready to see Hayden come back and finally get the love and recognition that he deserves. However, there was something even more interesting that Kathleen Kennedy said, and that is that this will be the rematch of the century? What the heck does that mean? Are we going to see Darth Vader and Master Kenobi fight? Like, again? Maybe we'll finally get that epic matchup between Obi-Wan and Vader like we saw in SC-38 Reimagined after all. And then, what does that mean when Vader says in A New Hope, when I left you I was but the learner, now I am the master? Like, that could give a whole new context to just that one line. Literally, so many things that they could do with the series, especially with Hayden coming back. Is he going to be in the Darth Vader suit? Is he just going to be viewed as Anakin in a Flashpoint? Are we going to see Big Boy Daddy Kenobi in his, Clone Wars armor along with Hayden in his Clone Wars armor? I think that would be really cool. There are so many things that can happen. The show is set 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, officially making it a prequel, and it is set as a special series event, so unfortunately it's probably only going to have about one season, probably with, 4, 5, or 6 episodes. It's not going to be that long, but I'm hoping that it's great. Deborah Chow, who has worked on shows like The Mandalorian and also Breaking Bad, is set to direct, so I'm confident in her abilities and pray that she takes care of this show with one of the most beloved characters of all time. It is said that they will start filming in March of next year, meaning that the earliest we'll probably get it is probably 2023, maybe 2022, at like the very earliest. The next show they talked about, which is also going to be epic, is The Bad Batch. Now, they did show us a preview, and it looks like it's just going to pick up right where the Clone Wars ended. There was a ton to break down in this little preview, and more than likely that's going to be the next video I do. They did show us Palpatine reorganizing the Republic, and it looks like the Bad Batch is going to be a clone division fighting for the Empire. So it's going to be awesome to see that, kind of see the other side, and instead of the clones being the heroes, they're going to be the villains, which I am just, I'm so excited to see that. The show is going to be headed up by Dave Filoni, of course, and has no set number of seasons or episodes. Honestly, there was a ton in this trailer, and it'd be better if we just broke it down separately in a different video, so that's what I'm going to do. The last few shows are ones that I'm excited to see because they are Star Wars, and I love everything Star Wars, one of which is going to be a bunch of animated shorts, but they will be done in the style of anime, and will be done by Japanese anime artists. Now, personally, I haven't really gotten into anime. I wouldn't even know where to start, but I do like the style, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of these shorts come to life. Another series that was announced is a Lando Calrisian series. Now, it wasn't announced if Donald Glover will be reprising his role, but I'm fairly confident that he will. And if he doesn't, then I don't know what's wrong with Disney. I think he did a great job in Solo, and I'd love to see him reprise it again. Anyway, the show has no timeline yet, but it's going to be written and directed by Justin Simien, who was also in charge of Dear White People. Disney, please just bring Donald Glover back. He was a great Lando, and I think he'll do a fantastic job. Another show is the all-female-led cast show by Leslie Headland and is going to be called The Acolyte. And I know that obviously Leslie Headland, this whole female-led, show has gotten a lot of flack over the past months since it was leaked and everything like that. But I, for one, am really excited for this, alright? I care less that it's all females, as long as it's a good Star Wars story, and this plot actually sounds really great. So the show is set at the end of the High Republic era and is going to be exploring the dark side powers and origins in the final days of the High Republic. So hopefully we will finally get to see a real dark side Sith BA warrior lady, and one that is actually real instead of just, being a freaking tease. Now, I will also be making a video predicting what this show will be about. Maybe Zana. For those of you who don't know, Zana was Darth Bane's apprentice. Darth Bane was the guy who did the Rule of Two, all that stuff. Now, I know that the timelines don't add up, but I still think it'd be cool, and I'm actually really looking forward to this show, honestly. Now, the last show they announced was a show called Star Wars Droid Story. It will follow C-3PO and R2-D2 as they run around and get into a world of trouble with other droids across the galaxy. This show is going to be animated, and I think it will be super fun, especially if we get to explore all the immense power of the Gonk droid. But obviously the show is going to be geared more toward kids, I think, but still, it's going to be super enjoyable. Anyway, so that is all the shows and movies that were announced. I am a little disappointed that the movies are going to be a little lackluster, that we're only getting 2 of them announced, and the first one's going to come out in 2023, and then who knows when the next one's going to come out. I always prefer movies. Well, I don't know if always is the right word, but I really am looking forward to Star Wars coming back in theaters and everything like that. I love Rogue Squadron, with all the comics, books, and video games and everything, and I will obviously go see this in theaters, but I'm really wanting to get back into the trilogy train. Having one movie be the beginning, then another the middle, then another the end. Just have that complete and competent story. Especially if it's a trilogy involving the Old Republic. Hopefully. Maybe Taika Waititi's movie will be about the Old Republic. Again, we have no details about this movie, so it really could be about anything. It was also interesting that there was no mention at all about Rian Johnson or his trilogy that was supposed to have happened already. So, I guess it's not happening. But overall, with the movies that were announced and then the shows that were also announced, I'm excited for the future of Star Wars. Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Hayden coming back, and The Bad Batch all sound amazing, as do the rest of the shows that were announced as well. The next few years should be great for Star Wars storytelling. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Kind of rushed, but I just wanted to get this stuff out there for all you guys to know. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing for more Star Wars content. The channel is still young, but every day we grow a little bit, and eventually we'll get there. And remember to forever be a Star Wars fan.